What's up guys? How are you all doing? Hey, welcome to another Maker Monday. Today we're going to be checking out how to desolder surface mount versus through-hole components off of a circuit board. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, it's coming up right here, right now on misperry. Okay guys, so as the intro said, it said that we will be checking out how to remove surface mount components versus through-hole components. And there's a few different ways to do this. I'll show you some of the ways that I do, some of the equipment that I use, going from stuff that's fairly inexpensive versus stuff that gets a little bit more expensive, but still on the affordable side. All right, so without any further ado, I want to introduce you to a few different pieces of equipment that I have on my bench. I don't know if you can see it. I may have to turn the camera and we'll check it out. Okay guys, so we've got a couple of different devices here on my bench. The top one is a hot air rework. This one is an 858D system. It's a Zenny, but there's many different kinds. This has been rebranded, I don't know how many times, but an 858D is the one that I use, solder SMT rework station. It's just basically a hot air gun, basically, but it has the ability to control how hard the air blows out of it, as well as the temperature that it gets to. So it works really well. Another one that I have is simply a solder pump. What these are is this is basically something that you put down on it, and it's a solder sucker. You put it on there and you suck it out. Now, this one is the best one, I would say, these big blue ones. It's just called a desoldering pump. No solvents or heat desoldering tool. I can't remember who makes it, but if you look up desoldering pump, you'll usually find these. I'll put a link in the description to some Amazon links for this, as well as I'll put some links to these two guys. But this one is very, very useful. You cock it by pressing down on that, and then it has a little button. You put it right on the surface mount, or I mean not surface mount, but the through-hole component, and you heat it up with a soldering iron, and then you press the button, and it sucks up the solder off of it. It works really well, believe it or not, actually really well. But if you're gonna be doing a lot of desoldering with this, I would highly recommend getting yourself a desolder sucker, okay? So what this is a basically gun that has a soldering iron built into it with a hole in the tip. So you put it basically around, whoops, we're knocking stuff off here. You put it around the through-hole component, and then all you do is pull the trigger, and it's got a little pump that's inside the base unit here, and it'll suck the solder up into this little chamber here that you can later then clean out. So it works really, really well. Anyway, so let's go ahead and see these tools in action, shall we? I'm gonna move the camera around to where we can see, and we'll be right back. So basically guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to desolder, if I can get it onto the camera, one of these surface mount chips. So this one right here, we're gonna try to take that off. Let's say for some reason it's burnt out, it's bad, or something like that, and you need to replace it. So you could solder wick the sides of it off, but then if there's any solder under the pad, it could cause all kinds of problems. You know, you could end up busting a pin, tearing up a pad trace, something bad could happen. So we're gonna remove it using the hot air rework station, all right? So let me zoom in a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it on and set a temperature. Now I have mine set to 230 degrees. Generally it's pretty good. I'm gonna set the wind speed here at about 1.5, maybe in between 1.5, 2, something like that. Now the cool thing about this one is it detects when it's in the cradle. If when you pull it out, that's when it turns on. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm trying to put it on my microphone. But now it's going to get hot, and you can even, let's see if I can point it at the camera. Sometimes you can see down in there and see the heating element. It's got a little heating element in it, and I can feel it. It is getting hot. So anyway, that'll warm up. Now when I put it back on the cradle, it should go back down. It may heat all the way up, I don't remember, and then go back down. I think that's probably what it does. But anyway, once we reach 230 degrees, we'll begin taking this off. Okay guys, so I've got our board put into a vise. I'm gonna turn on, sorry for all the fan noise, but I've got a fume extractor let me back up and show you the setup here. Now I got myself a fume extractor, so that way if it puts off any fumes, it's not harming my health. I really recommend getting one of these. These are very nice, they're fairly inexpensive. You can even build them yourself, but they basically keep all that harmful fumes and stuff away from your face, because I don't know why, but every time I start soldering, no matter where I put my head, the fumes always come to my nose. It always does. So get yourself a fume extractor. That's very nice to have. So what I do originally is I heat up the board just very gently. I'm going to wave this down below and the board should start to heat up. This helps with warpage. I learned this as a trick back when I did PCB repair and things like that. You don't want the board to warp or do anything weird, especially when you get heavy copper boards, you have copper pores, stuff like that. It really can warp. And so if you heat the board up, you put your finger on the top, try not to burn yourself. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Try not to burn yourself, but I warm it up till it's, you can't leave your finger on it, okay? And then once we're done with that, let me zoom in. Now it's time to remove the chips. So I get myself a pair of tweezers here, okay? These tweezers fit just about around the whole chip. So that's what I'm gonna use, is I'm gonna grab a hold of the whole chip, if I can. There we go. And then we're gonna take this and put it straight on top of it. Hopefully you guys can still see. Let's see if you can still see. Like so. And you just put light pressure on it and you just let it reflow. Take it just a little bit and eventually there it goes. And there it is. It's right off. Very slick, very easy process. Now the chip could be reused as well as the board. Here, I'll take the board out. Let's put this back in the cradle. The board is nice. Now be careful, it's going to be hot. All right, but the board is good to go. If you can see that. Oop, get it on camera, Mitch. There we go. See? And now you can take some solder wick and clean that solder off of there. Okay guys, so I've got it all set up with the through hole. So what we're going to do is I've already got my solder pump already locked and loaded. I've got a soldering iron here that's ready to roll. So what we're going to do is put the soldering iron until it reflows, and then we're going to set this right on top of it, just like that. And there it is. I don't know if you can see that, but the hole's gone. So then I got to recock it, and then we'll do the next one. And it works quite well, and it goes fairly quick. Get these bigger ones, they take a little bit more. So there we go. And then let's get this last one. Sorry if it's kind of in the way, but I'm doing my best here. All right. All right, so that's pretty much it. So let's see if it'll wiggle free. Make sure it's not hot. See, it's still somewhat in there, and you're gonna have to play around with it to get it out. So that's the way we do it with a desolder pump. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the desoldering gun, and I'll set it to about 300 degrees, and we'll come back when it's all heated up. Okay, so for using a desolder pump, which is what I've got, one of the desoldering guns, or like I say, it has basically a gun, it's got a trigger, it sucks the solder up into this chamber here. This is a great inexpensive one. This one is pretty darn cheap. It's, across the pond made. It is a ZD, so that's Zebra Delta -985. So ZD-985 is the number, because there's many different rebrandings of this as well. Like I said, this is just a cheap knockoff one. So this one does pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. I actually saw this on a EEV blog, so go Dave Jones. Thank you so much if you ever see this video. This thing works great, and as you can see, I've already had it on. The screen isn't wonderful. Dave does a full review, so I'll let you check out his video. I'll probably maybe see if I can't put a link in the description. But this little guy works really well. I wouldn't recommend this if you're like a board repair house. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's a little chintzy. But for somebody like me that's just a hobbyist, or somebody that does light resoldering or just reclaiming of parts or whatever, this thing works magnificently. Comes out, it has a little chamber on it. You can pop that loose and this comes out, and you can take that out and clean it and whatnot. It does really well. It even comes with, oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. but even comes with its own little like cleaning rods, which is kind of cool. You take this and stuff that in there after you're done cleaning, and that makes sure that nothing solidifies in there. And it's even, oh, you probably can't even see it. Let me see if I can put it back. Let's see if you can see it. It's even serrated. Ooh, that's hot. It's even serrated. I don't know if you can see that. I keep burning myself with it because I'm looking through the viewfinder. But it's even serrated, so that's actually quite a nice touch. So anyway, we'll be using this to desolder some stuff, so let's check that out. Okay, so this guy is all nice and heated up. So basically it's got this tip on it. See if I can not burn myself, but yet get the camera to focus. It's got a tip on it that has a hole in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this guy and we're gonna take out this next one right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can't get in here and not block the camera. Put it on here, you kind of weeble wobble it around, and then there's 1, 2, 3. This tip's not exactly as big as it probably should be. And that's pretty much it. Now let's see. And it comes right out. Look at that. Pretty slick. Okay guys, well I hope that you enjoyed this little intro into desoldering. There's much more to cover on this, but it is pretty cool. As long as you have the right tools and whatnot, it is very, very easy to disassemble these things. I do it a lot of the time, especially when I have prototype boards and things like that and you need to rework them and stuff like that. Thank you so much. We're pretty much out of time now, so thank you so much for joining me on this Maker Monday. Sorry this video was so late. I normally film these the night before, but time got away from me and I was working on actually some other videos, so it got away from me. So this one's a little late, but I apologize for that. But in any case, so let me know in the comments, how do you like these, kind of like little tutorials and stuff? Do you like this soldering stuff? Do you like knowing about how, to do different solder stuff? I was even thinking about maybe in future Maker Mondays showing you how to rework boards and how to put little wire jumpers and things, how to lift pins and all that jazz to rework. Let me know down in the comments, because if you guys, you have not because you asked not. It's gone on long enough, guys. Take care, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and all that. Check me out on all the social medias down below. Links will be in the description. And guys, with that ought to do it. I will see you in the next video.